1. Introduction. My name is Tish. I am 26 years old. I am a married woman. My husband's name is Brad. We have been married for 2 years now. Many people say we have a perfect marriage. They often tell us this. Brad is a kind man. He is also very charming. He always makes me feel safe and loved. I believe in our love. I believe in our future together. I often think to myself, this is true happiness. Our life together seems very good. We live in a nice house in a quiet town. We often spend our evenings together, talking or watching films. On weekends, we like to go for walks or visit new places. Brad always holds my hand. He smiles at me often. These small things make me feel very happy. However, I also have a feeling. This feeling is that Brad is hiding something from me. It is a secret. This thought makes me feel a little uneasy sometimes. I try to ignore it. I tell myself that everything is fine. But the feeling does not go away completely. Sometimes, Brad acts in a way that seems strange. For example, when his phone rings, he often leaves the room. He takes the call in private. He goes to another room, like the kitchen or the bedroom. He closes the door sometimes. This happens more and more often. I wonder who he is talking to. Why does he need to be alone? Why can't he take the call in front of me? Another thing I notice is his eyes. Sometimes, Brad looks at me with sad eyes. His look is not happy. It is like he carries a heavy secret inside him. His face can become serious. He looks away quickly if I try to meet his gaze. Then he tries to smile again. But I see the sadness. I see the worry. I ask him sometimes, "Are you okay, Brad? Is something wrong?" He always says, "No, Tish, everything is fine. I am just thinking." He tries to sound normal, but his voice does not always sound normal to me. These small things make me think. They make me worry. I do not want to think bad things about my husband. I love him very much. I trust him. But these actions are hard to forget. They plant a small seed of doubt in my mind. I wish I knew what was happening. I wish I understood why he acts this way. I try to push these thoughts away. I try to enjoy our perfect life. But the feeling that Brad has a secret stays with me. It is like a small cloud on a sunny day. It is always there, even if I try not to see it. I hope it is nothing important. I hope my feelings are wrong, but I cannot shake this feeling. It is a quiet worry in my heart. 2. The secret call. The day ended and the house was quiet. Tish was reading in the living room. She heard water from the bathroom. Brad was taking his shower. He often sang a little song. Tish felt calm and happy. Suddenly, a soft sound broke the quiet. It was Brad's phone on the coffee table near Tish. The screen lit up with a gentle buzz. Tish looked. Brad was still in the shower, singing. He did not hear it. Tish saw the screen. A name appeared, Clara. Tish did not know this name. She had never heard Brad talk about a Clara. Who was Clara? A strange feeling started in Tish's stomach. Her heart beat faster. The phone kept ringing. One ring, then two, then three. Tish looked at the phone, then at the bathroom door. Should she answer? Maybe it was important, but it was Brad's phone, his private thing. She should not touch it. Tish thought about answering. What if the person said something strange? What if it was a secret? This thought made her hand stop. She pulled her hand back. She decided not to answer. The phone stopped ringing after 5 rings. The screen went dark. The house was quiet again, but Tish was not calm. The name, Clara, stayed in her mind like an unknown word. She tried to read her book, but she could not. Her mind was far away, thinking only of Clara. Later, Brad came out of the shower. He looked fresh and happy. He did not seem to notice his phone. Tish watched him. She wanted to ask, "Who is Clara?" But the words did not come out. She just smiled weakly. That night, Tish could not sleep well. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Clara on the screen. She wondered why Brad never mentioned this person. Was Clara a friend or a colleague, or something else? Questions spun in her head. The next morning, Brad acted normal. He made coffee. He talked about his day. He kissed Tish goodbye before work. He seemed like the same Brad. But for Tish, something had changed. The seed of doubt was now in her mind. It was small, but it was there. She tried to push it away. She told herself it was nothing important. But Clara was still a soft whisper in her thoughts. It felt like a secret she now carried. 3. Hearing the whispers. A week went by. The name Clara was still a small worry in my mind. I tried to ignore it, telling myself it was nothing important. One sunny afternoon, I decided to go shopping. I needed some new things for our home. The street was busy. I walked slowly, looking at the shop windows. As I walked past a small cafe with tables outside, I heard 2 women talking. Their voices were low, like they did not want to be heard. At first, I did not pay attention. Then I heard my husband's name. Brad. My steps slowed. My ears became sharp, trying to hear more. The women were sitting at a table. They looked at me quickly, then looked away. They leaned closer and started to whisper again. I pretended to look at a dress in a shop window nearby. I moved a little closer. Then I heard it clearly. "That's Brad's wife," one woman said. My heart started to beat very fast. Then the other woman spoke, her voice full of pity. "Poor girl, she doesn't know." My hands began to shake. What did they mean? What did I not know? A cold feeling spread through me. Shame washed over me. These strangers knew something about my life, something about Brad that I did not. They talked about me as if I was blind. Anger also began to burn inside me. How could they know something so important that I did not? I wanted to stop and ask them. I wanted to shout, "What are you talking about?" But I could not. My legs felt heavy, but they kept moving forward. I forced a small, fake smile onto my face, trying to look normal. I walked past the cafe, pretending everything was fine. But inside, my mind was spinning. The words played over and over. Brad's wife, poor girl, she doesn't know. The rest of my shopping trip felt like a blur. My thoughts were stuck on the whispers. When I finally got home, the house felt different. It felt heavy with secrets. Brad was in the living room watching television. He looked up when I came in and smiled his usual warm smile. "Hey, welcome back," he said. I looked at him. His smile was kind, his eyes full of love. He looked like the man I had married and trusted. But the women's words echoed loudly in my ears. "Poor girl, she doesn't know." A big lump formed in my throat. I wanted to ask him to explain, but the words would not come out. They stayed trapped inside me. I just nodded, a weak movement of my head, and walked to the kitchen, leaving the heavy secret between us, still unspoken. 4. The secret in the park. One afternoon, the sky was blue and the sun was warm. I decided to walk through the local park. It was a place where many families came to enjoy the day. Children were playing on the swings, and people were sitting on benches, talking and laughing. I walked slowly, thinking about the strange call from Clara and the whispers I had heard. My mind was still full of questions. I hoped to clear my head. As I walked near the big oak trees, I saw a familiar figure. My heart suddenly beat faster. It was Brad. He was not alone. He was with a small boy. The boy looked to be about 7 years old. He had dark hair, just like Brad. His eyes were bright, and they looked exactly like Brad's eyes. When the boy smiled, it was Brad's smile. My feet stopped. I could not move. It felt like my legs had turned to stone. Brad was laughing. He held the boy's hand tightly as they walked towards the swings. They looked so happy together. Brad lifted the boy high into the air, and the boy giggled loudly. A wave of cold shock went through my body. I felt a terrible pain in my chest, as if my heart was breaking into 2 pieces. I quickly moved behind a large tree. I did not want them to see me. I stood there, hidden, watching them. Everything became clear in that moment. The name Clara, the woman who called Brad's phone. The whispers from the 2 women in the street, saying, "Poor girl, she doesn't know." It all made sense now. Every piece of the puzzle fell into place. The secret Brad was keeping, the one that made him look sad sometimes, the reason he took calls in private. It was all about this boy. I watched Brad and the boy for a long time. Brad was so gentle with him, so loving. He was a father. This little boy was his son. The truth hit me hard. It was a heavy weight on my soul. My perfect marriage, my happy life, all of it felt like a lie. Brad had a son, and he had kept it a secret from me. The world around me seemed to spin, but I stayed hidden, unable to move, unable to breathe properly. My life had changed forever in that park. 5. Asking for the truth. That evening, Tish waited for Brad. The day was long. Her heart felt heavy. Her eyes were red from crying. She thought about the boy in the park. He looked just like Brad. Tish felt sad and angry. She needed to know the truth. She wanted to ask Brad everything. She needed to understand why he kept this secret from her. When Brad came home, he looked tired. He walked into the living room. Tish stood up. Her voice was quiet but strong. She said, "Why?" Brad stopped. He looked at Tish. His face turned pale. His hands started to shake. He knew something was very wrong. He could feel it. Tish took a deep breath. "I saw you today," she said. "In the park, you were with a little boy." Brad's eyes went wide. He did not speak. He just stared at Tish. "He looks like you, Brad," Tish continued. Her voice was now louder. "He looks exactly like you." Brad's body seemed to give up. He fell to his knees on the floor. He put his head down. Tish watched him. She felt a mix of sadness and anger. Brad started to speak. His voice was full of pain. "I am so sorry, Tish," he said. "Please forgive me." He looked up at her. Tears were in his eyes. "Yes," he said. "He is my son. His mother is Clara. I knew her before I met you, Tish. This happened a long time ago." Brad paused. He took another deep breath. "I wanted to tell you, but I could not do it. I was afraid." Tish looked at him. "Afraid of what?" she asked. Brad looked at the floor again. "I was afraid of losing you, Tish," he whispered. "I love you so much. I thought if I told you, you would leave me. I did not want to lose our life together." His words filled the quiet room. Tish's heart felt a sharp pain. The truth was out. It was even harder than she thought. 6. A story of lies. Brad started to talk again. He tried to explain everything. He said the little boy was born before he met me. He said Clara was the boy's mother. Brad told me that he loved me very much. He said he did not love Clara. He said he was sorry for keeping this big secret. He hoped I could understand. He hoped I could forgive him, but I could not hear his words properly. All I could hear was a long story of lies. Every day of our marriage, Brad had lied to me. Every time he kissed me, it was a lie. Every promise he made felt like a lie now. My mind was full of these thoughts. I felt completely lost. My heart was broken into many pieces. The trust I had in Brad was gone. It was like a beautiful glass that had fallen and shattered on the floor. I felt a terrible pain inside me. It was not a physical pain, but a pain in my soul. I started to scream. The sound was loud in our quiet house. I screamed because I was angry. I screamed because I was sad. I screamed because I felt so much betrayal. Tears ran down my face like a river. I could not stop them. My hands were shaking badly. I looked at the wedding ring on my finger. It felt heavy and cold. It was a symbol of our love, but now it felt like a symbol of his lies. With all my strength, I pulled the ring off my finger. I threw it onto the table between us. It made a small, sharp sound as it hit the wood. "You broke me," I cried out to him. My voice was rough from crying. "You have broken my heart into 1,000 pieces." I could not believe that the man I loved, the man I trusted, had kept such a big secret from me for so long. He had built our life together on a foundation of lies. Brad looked at me with sad eyes. He got down on his knees. He begged me to forgive him. He said he would do anything to make things right. He promised to tell me everything now. He promised to be an honest man. But it was too late. My soul was bleeding. The pain was too deep. I could not see a way back from this moment. The image of him with the little boy in the park was burned into my mind. The whispers of the women on the street came back to me. Clara's name on his phone. All the small things now made a big, terrible picture. My perfect marriage was not perfect at all. It was a story of lies. I felt empty and cold. I could not imagine ever trusting him again. How could I live with a man who had hidden such a big part of his life from me? How could I believe anything he said now? The future we had planned together, the dreams we shared, they all felt like ashes. I just stood there, crying, feeling the weight of his lies all around me. My heart was truly broken. 7, living in silence. Many days went by after Brad told me his secret. We lived in the same house, but it felt like we were two strangers. A heavy, cold silence filled every room. It was not a quiet peace. It was an uncomfortable, loud silence that made my heart ache. We did not talk much. We did not share our thoughts or our day like we used to. Each morning I woke up, and the silence was the first thing I noticed. Each evening I went to bed, and the silence followed me. Our home, which was once full of laughter and warm feelings, now felt empty and cold. Brad often looked at me. His eyes were full of pain, like he was carrying a very heavy weight. He wanted to talk, I think, or maybe he wanted to touch my hand. But I could not let him. I always looked away when he tried to catch my eye. If he came too close, I would move to another part of the room. His touch felt wrong now. It felt like a reminder of all the lies he had told me. When I saw his face, I did not see the loving husband I thought I knew. Instead, I saw the face of the little boy in the park, the boy who looked exactly like Brad. This made the pain grow inside me. I felt a mix of anger and deep sorrow. The happiness we once shared was completely gone. It felt like a dream from a very long time ago. Now, there was only a big emptiness inside me. Many nights I cried alone in my bed. The tears would not stop, and my pillow was often wet when morning came. During the day, I felt tired and lost. I just moved from one room to another, sometimes sitting, sometimes standing, without any real purpose. The joy and love of our marriage had been broken into many small pieces. They were replaced by a constant, heavy sorrow that stayed with me all the time. My friends sometimes called me or came to visit. They noticed a change in me. "Tish, you look pale," one friend said with a worried voice. "Why don't you smile anymore?" another asked gently. They saw my sadness, but I could not tell them the real reason. How could I say, "My husband has a secret son, and he lied to me for years"? It was too hard to say the words, so I just gave them a small, fake smile and said, "I am just a little tired these days." This made me feel even more alone. I was now living with his secret, and I had to keep it from everyone else too. This new secret added to my pain, making my silent world even heavier. 8. The end of our love. Brad found Tish one evening. She was sitting by the window, looking out at the dark garden. He came close and slowly took her hand. His touch felt strange now, not warm and loving as it once was. He looked into her eyes, which were still full of pain from the past days. "Tish," he said, his voice soft and full of sorrow, "please forgive me. I know I made a big mistake. I know I hurt you deeply. But I truly love you. I need you in my life. Our marriage means everything to me. Can we try to fix this? Can we find a way back to what we had before?" Tish pulled her hand away gently. Her heart felt heavy, like a stone in her chest. She had cried so many tears since she learned the truth. Now there were no more tears left to fall. Only a deep, quiet sadness remained. She looked at Brad, the man she had loved with all her heart, the man who had kept a big secret from her for so long. "Brad," she began, her voice steady but quiet, "you say you love me, but true love needs truth. It needs honesty. You built our entire life on a lie. You kept a very important part of yourself hidden from me. How can I trust you now? How can I believe your words of love when you could hide something so big for so many years?" She took a deep breath. "Your secret, the boy, everything about it, it has completely destroyed us. It has broken everything we had together. Our happiness, our deep trust, our plans for a future, it is all gone. I cannot live with this pain inside me. I cannot live with this lie hanging over our heads." Brad tried to speak again, his face full of worry, but Tish gently raised her hand to stop him. "It's over, Brad," she said. "Our story is finished. I cannot stay here in this house with you. I cannot be your wife anymore." The words were hard to say, very hard, but they were true. She felt a strange mix of deep pain and a small, quiet sense of release. The decision was made. There was no turning back for her. The love they once shared was now just a memory, covered by the dark shadow of his secret. She stood up, her legs feeling weak but her resolve strong. "I need to leave," she said. "I need to start a new life, a life that is built on truth, not on lies." Brad looked at her, his face pale and his eyes filled with despair. He did not speak. There was nothing more to say. The silence in the room was heavier than ever before. It was the silence of a final ending. The end of their love, the end of their marriage, the end of everything they had built together, piece by piece, only for it to be shattered by one hidden truth. Tish turned and walked away, leaving him alone in the quiet, broken room. Her heart was still broken, but her mind was finally clear. The secret had won, and it had taken everything from them.